Hey guys, sorry we had some trouble with the sound. So right now I hope that you're still interested to look at our strategies for better onboarding, and let's get down to it. So as I said, I'll be your host today, and today's webinar objectives are about three different and main objectives that are a way to you to think out of your product, a way for you to automate your onboarding, and a way for you to make customers more autonomous by using dedicated tools that we are going to review today. So just to give you some details about what is the onboarding at Crisp, I created this framework that shows you different steps of the onboarding. So today we're not going to review each of these steps because it will take like the whole day, but we're going to focus on some specific things and different steps too. We're not going to focus on the first steps of the onboarding, which are lead gen, product marketing, sales, and support, but we're rather going to focus on additional content and customer communication. So today's focus will be about product documentation, onboarding screencast, and in-chat and email sequences. So product documentation. Product documentation, also known as docs, are a way for you to decrease in customers' requests. And that's what we've seen while using our own knowledge base to help our users to be much more autonomous. So thanks to our knowledge base, we decreased the customer's request by 40%, which is really interesting for you when you're trying to make your customers more autonomous. So let's have a look at 3 tips to build the best docs for your leads and customers, because you have to understand that those documentation are not only available for your customers, these are also available for your teams and for your leads too. So first, it's so much more than just FAQs. We've all seen those websites where the content is, well, not easily accessible. You have to look for a specific page where you can find the information, and inside that page you get like hundreds questions listed in the same page that are not easily browsable. And these are the main reason why it's not well interesting for your company to work as FAQs, because it's not motivating, it's not inspiring, it's not easy to use, and it's not efficient for SERPs. So the first thing you should start to build for your own company would be getting started guides. As I told you, we are going to review first the documentation that you will need to be able then to automate your onboarding, because without any content, you will not be able to send the right message at the right time based on user interaction, for example. So recently at Crisp, we wrote an article which is explaining all the steps that the user have to do while moving from Intercom to Crisp. And this article is quite easy and simple to use, because users have just to read and follow the steps so that they are able to make the right action while moving from Intercom to Crisp, which can be sometimes a bit complicated, because different companies have different wordings for the same features. So writing those guides can help you to earn more time to focus on specific actions rather than repeating always the same question. So quick advice to write the best guides: assume that there's no prior knowledge. Assume that your users doesn't know your product, so that you are able to explain things simply and clearly so that they are able to understand immediately. And also, one thing is, make them available. It means that you'll have to make your content available in emails, in chat for the support team too, so that they are able to send the right content at the right time to customers or leads that are asking for details about specific questions. For example, inside this email that has been sent to me by Fabric, well, there's only a button that asks for the user to click on it and says, get started with Fabric. Well, indeed, in this email, there should be some specific links redirecting the user towards a specific content, showing like, okay, what are the key steps to do inside the product, or what are the best practices, and some specific guides that would help the user to be able to better understand what is the value of the product and how it can help him to better engage with the customers, for example. Amplitude, which is a really great product that works and specifically on onboarding, um, sent me this email while I was invited to join a team. And also, as a new user, it would have been nice to include inside this email some specific content so that I'm able to send the right content at the right time and be able to focus on the right action to take directly after joining the team or joining the product. So we talked quickly about the best practices guides, and this guide is about, for example, how to create a department routing bot. So the best practices for your users are really important because you need to be able to explain to your users what is the value they can take from your product. So for example, this knowledge article is based on chatbots and how, thanks to a chatbot, you can automate the routing rules, I mean the conversation assignment from a user to a specific department in a completely automated way, which is really great because it helps you to earn a lot of time. So as you can see, it's quite easy, it's simple to read. This is step-by-step guides so that the user only have to follow the content and then he has to send it straight away, well, to the right team or just to do it by itself. So quick tips to write the best guides. Focus on surrounding skills. I mean, focus on specific skills that you'll need to be able to send the right message at the right time and to automate the right things and help the customer to fulfill his goal. Lead with the job, not the feature. It means that you will not have to explain how the feature is built, but rather focus on how to reach a specific action and how to fulfill customers' goals. And then motivate, inspire to do more. It means that you'll have to write content in a way that will be inspiring your customers or your leads so that they will need or they will have the will to use this feature for themselves. So prioritize your key action steps. So this is one of the major thing, in fact, while building the right onboarding steps. Once you've written the content as we just seen, then you'll have to prioritize your key action steps. What are the key action steps that you want to follow and what are the key action steps that you want to monitor so that you are able to send the right message at the right time? Using Crisp, for example, doing this job will help you to write a tracking plan, which will then let you send targeted messages based on users' interaction, for example, and also create chat triggers based on some specific behavior. So these are the key steps. Take some time to step back and think about how you could enhance the customer's life cycle by sending key messages on specific actions. and then put some content live today. Um, there's so many companies that are not self and enough confident to write content and push it live. This is no trouble. It doesn't, like, it's no problem if there's only one or two articles on your knowledge base, as long as you are writing and continuously improving the content. And this is like how you have to do it. Do not think that you have to build a knowledge base that will immediately have 100 articles. That's the wrong way. Just write articles, and then you'll have the ability to improve them and make them better along the way while you're writing other articles that are needed by your customers. So, as I told you, a few advice to write content and put them live today. Publish step by step, get feedback. You have Inside Crisp, you have the ability to get feedback about the quality of your content, and this is something you should really use to improve the quality of your content and of your knowledge articles. It's available inside the analytics section, so simply just reach the analytics section, click on Help Desk, and then you'll be able to monitor the quality of your content and also read comments about what the user thought about the content he was reading. So this is something really interesting that you should really use. And as I told you at the beginning, one content is better than no content. So that always think about something you need to give some food to your customer or to your leads, so that they are able to better understand how to use or how to work out and make the most out of your product. So we just done the first part of the webinar, which is the product documentation, and now we are going to review the onboarding screencast. The onboarding screencast are a way for your team to create content that will be much more helpful and dynamic than product documentation. In fact, they are totally complementary, because you can insert those product screencasts and those onboarding screencasts inside your docs and inside your knowledge base articles. So it's quite interesting to focus on those. So just to give you a quick example, at Crisp, every time there's a user that starts to use our product, we are sending this video. This video is focused on the major steps a user has to take once he has reached the inbox section, and that he has, lots of actions to take. So following this video, the user will easily reach out the main goal and take the best value from the software, which is really great. There's often huge misconceptions about screencast. Lots of people think that screencasts are expensive, tough to create, and require lots of amount of money. Well, this is wrong. In fact, screencasts are easy to create, and you'll not need a huge team to make great content. So they are easy to create, they're cheap, because you just need sometimes only a computer and some specific tools to record specific information about your product, and do not need any camera or stuff. It's quite easy to do without any budget. So here are a few tools that we use, for example, at Crisp to create our own product screencast. Loom, which is a tool that will help you to record on-screen videos. Final Cut, which helps you to create the best videos. And QuickTime, which also helps us to create some on-screen recordings. So the first tips I would give about creating onboarding screencast is to focus on your product. Take some time to explain to your users how they can make the most out of this specific feature, how it can benefit your business. And once you've done this, then you'll be able to automate lots of stuff and earn some time to focus on other specific actions. For example, and you'll be able to find those on YouTube, for example, there are lots of companies that are building specific content dedicated to their users. So feel free to have a look at them and understand what they are building and how you can copy those to integrate them inside your strategy. At Crisp, we recently released Unleash, which is a tool dedicated to customer onboarding and customer knowledge. We want our users to better use our software. That's why we created that's why we created this specific content that will help our user to better use our software. So about the product screencast, there's a few advantages. It's personal and it's human. It's one-to-one conversation or one-to-many. It depends how do you want to watch those and how do you want to send them. It's low-tech content. You do not need any specific skills. It's only some specific tools that you need to manage. And also it has a huge leverage and a huge scale, because once it's done, it will be available for every user and it will be available lots of time, as long as your software doesn't change and so it doesn't require any modification inside your content. One thing is, and that will be my last tip about strategies for better onboarding, keep videos short and focused. It's the best way for your users to quickly understand what they will need to do, and also for you to ensure that users will have the ability to watch your content. So simply one ID per video and get straight to the point, okay? Do not take some time to, well, misguide your users about the feature and stuff. Bring them immediately to what they are looking for. And then finally, customer communication. So once you've built the content that is needed to address the users, the great content, then you'll easily and simply think about how you can communicate those contents to your users. So let's focus right now on customer communication, and we'll be happy to see and show you how Crisp can help you in those actions. So, onboarding messages. Onboarding messages are really great because they can focus on personalization, and this is why it's interesting. It's also always remember to be valuable. Always think about, okay, how can I send this content at the best time to the right users? And so it means that you will need to create fine-grained segments and targeted list of users so that they are able to enjoy and feel the pleasure of watching and reading the content you are sending them. And you will see that the more you personalize the content you send, the better and the higher your statistics will be about clicks and also the results, because afterwards what you want is that by sending those contents, you want the users to fulfill and do a specific action. So regarding Crisp, the main thing about sending customer communication automatically is about the campaigns feature. The campaigns features is all about automating the customer's journey, right? So using Crisp, you'll be able to send two kinds of campaign. a campaign that is dedicated to newsletter and product announcement, and another one that is specifically focused on automation and drip campaigns. So using our JavaScript SDK, you'll be able to write specific piece of code inside your product or your website. It's also totally available to be inserted inside your website or your product using Google Tag Manager, for example, and on other tools like this. So as you can see, you can bring a specific name to your event and also some specific attributes so that you can make them available then inside the customer's profile. The use cases are various, but it's interesting because it helps you to follow micro moments and specific actions on your product. It's also great because it helps you to optimize customers' experience because you are able to send them great content. And it's also the perfect tool to automate in-app and in-chat campaigns because it will help you to send the right message at the right time to the right user based on what we are going to see. So first example, let's imagine you want to send specific messages to a user that hasn't fulfilled his profile picture, for example. Using Crisp, first you'll need to set an event, which would be a sign up in this example, and then you'll have to use the filter condition. So at first you can add a specific timing option. The timing option is great because you do not want to send messages the first day the user has signed up to your product, right? You do not want to like annoy him and make him feel like, okay, this is a spammy product, but you rather want the next day to send him specific information about, okay, what you haven't done since your application and what you should do now to get the most out of this product. So then you can easily add some filtering options. So after a minute, 1440 minutes is 1 day. So 1 day after a user has made this event and has triggered this event, we look at a specific contact data. So this contact data is added inside Crisp, for example. And if it doesn't exist, then we send a specific message. So I didn't went through all the steps, but then you can create a specific template. You can modify the content. We recently added a WYSIWYG email editor so that you can modify HTML templates without coding skills. And at the end, you have the analytics so that you can see what it's like to use and how it is performing regarding the messages you are sending. So this was the first example. The second example is about, for example, a user that has added a credit card during his trial. So let's imagine that you want to send a message to a user that has added a credit card, but the payment has failed. So once again, without any trouble, 1 day after the user has added a credit card, if the payment has failed, then you could send a specific message saying to the user, hey, your payment has failed, please do something so that we are able to, and you are able to use and keep on using our software or any other tools. Has created an help desk, and this example is quite interesting. So for example, as Crisp, we offer the ability to create an help desk, right? But sometimes we see that users doesn't create, well, they create the help desk, but they do not create articles, which is the most important for us. So in this example, we are looking for a user that has created an help desk, but has not created any articles. And in this example, 1 day after the user has created an help desk, then we look for the number of help desk articles, and then we'll send a message saying, okay, you didn't create any articles. Here are the main content you should look at when you are trying to build and create the best content for your customers. So for us, this is a way to help them to create the best content and help them to know what they have to do once they will be trying to create articles. So as you may know, Crisp offers two kinds of channels, so that using the automated campaigns lets you send specific messages on two different channels, in-app chat and emails. Those are two different channels that have two different results and also have different advantages. Okay. So in-chat messages are hyper-contextual. It means that this is the best way for you to send the message right after a user has triggered a specific event. So for example, if a user is or has just created an help desk or has just added a product to a cart and that you want to send him a message, do not send this message over email, right? Send this message over chat because it will help you to be much more contextual, and as a result, then it's 10x more effective than email. So it's amazing for engagement, right? So this is the perfect tool when you want to send the right content at the right time based on user interaction. It's the perfect way to engage in real time with your customers. What is great also is that if you've created product screencast, then you'll be able to allow your content to be sent over in-chat messages, which is also really great because it's much more easier for users sometimes to stay inside the window and the tab rather than having to switch to another tab and maybe never come back. And then emails are the best way for you to reactivate your users. Okay, so 1 day, 5 days, 10 days after the user has triggered a specific event, send them emails because it will be much more powerful, especially if they haven't came back to your product. And also, why is email interesting? Because it's often expected, right? Users do need to receive emails. So make them happy and send them emails so that they are able to better understand what they have to do next. So we're done with this webinar. I hope it interested you. Sorry again for the beginning. It was a bit complex. We had some sound issues. We hope the content was interesting for you. And if you do have questions, feel free to send them and I'll be happy to answer. Thank you.